All right. All right. All right. What is good? What is good? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you know who I be. Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV. Back again, once again, with what is poised to be an instant classic in the making. If this is by far your first time to the Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV channel, and live stream. By all means, make sure y'all subscribe and notify and do all the good things to make yourself well versed in the Good Dice content. All of my good stuff shall be listed in the link in the description area below. Official time check, ladies and gentlemen, what, 8:32 in the PM Eastern Standard Time, which makes it about 7:32 Central, which makes it, of course, about 5:32 for everybody repping out West Coast, and of course, 8:32 in the AM Philippine Standard Time, wherever you guys are important in the world today. Salamat salahat, and thank you guys for joining the Good Doc on a great conversation that I think needs to be had. All right. Like I said, guys, if you haven't already dropped your like, please feel free to do so. But today, guys, what are we talking about? Learning the language, ladies and gentlemen, learning the language. And I'm not talking specifically just about travel to the Philippines, guys. I'm talking about travel to anywhere in the world that we go. Ladies and gentlemen, how important is it exactly for us to learn the language when moving abroad? Now, I will be the first to say this, right? I will not be the last, but I will damn sure be the first. I probably haven't been the first to say this, but what I will say about the Philippines, since you guys know that I spent an ample amount of time there, I do believe the Philippines is somewhat of a cheat code. And a lot of y'all look at me like, Doc, what in the fuck are you talking about? A cheat code? What do you mean the Philippines is a cheat code? Well, what I've learned throughout my entire experience living there, visiting back and forth, is it's not rocket science to be able to recognize that the Philippines' second language is English, right? So when you have a lot of guys who are talking about traveling to different locations and different types of areas, what do we hear? Well, the reason I choose to come to the Philippines is because, well, they do speak English there. So to an extent, it cuts out the need for us to learn the language. Now, let me say that with very loose lips, and I say that very loosely. It cuts out the need for us to learn the language on surface level, which basically means because they're going to probably try to speak to us in English, some of us, foreigners, travel to the Philippines without prior knowledge of Tagalog or Visayan, whatever, Ilocano, whatever area we're going to spend the ample amount of time of our trip or wherever we're choosing to stay. Some of us don't choose to do it because we know Filipinos speak English. I admit, I spent a lot of time there, guys. I did not master and or perfect the Tagalog dialogue or Visayan dialogue, okay? I did not do that. Do I know basic sentence structure? Do I know basic words? Can I pick up on conversations if I hear certain key words that trigger? Absolutely. But I did not perfect it. Now, is it an excuse? Absolutely not. I put that on myself. But as a college kid living in the Philippines, going to school with Filipino students and everybody like that, I went to a school wherein teaching was taught in English. We had one Tagalog class and then one Philippine history class that I was required to take. But overall, they spoke English. The teachers were required to teach in English in all of the subject matters. So with that being said, and the fact that I surrounded myself with people who wanted to learn English, I guess everybody around me spoke English. It was very rare for me to encounter somebody that could not understand my English. Yes, I spoke quickly when I first got to the Philippines, and I did have to slow it down a little bit and articulate a little bit more so that people could actually have an idea of what I'm saying. I did have to slow it down, something I had to adjust to on my own, right? But ultimately, I failed myself in the idea of not really needing, I should say, to learn the Philippine dialogue or the language. But there is no way on planet Earth, or I have never in a million years heard of anybody traveling to places like Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and places like that where you haven't been told, yo, if you don't know the language, it's going to be a challenge. I have never heard anybody say, yo, man, you can get by on just English in places like Thailand, like I said, Vietnam, Cambodia, China. There are very few places where you can get by just knowing English alone. I'm not saying that, I am saying that you can get by, but you're really going to be lacking when it counts the most for you to actually learn the language. Sometimes you're going to come across people who generally just cannot understand what you're saying. So it's going to, excuse me, try not to sneeze, pay dividends for you to know the actual language. It's going to pay dividends for you to be able to translate when needed. But like I said, guys, when you're traveling to other places, it's only in Southeast Asia, more specifically in the Philippines, where you have a lot of foreigners like, yeah, man, you don't need to know Tagalog. You don't need to know Visayan. You don't need to know Ilocano. You don't need to know any of the other languages there, because everywhere you go, you're likely going to come across somebody who speaks English. That is true. But does that benefit you in any way, shape, or form? That's the question. Does it benefit you to not know the language? I will be the first to say, last to say, it don't. It does not help you. I have found myself in situations earlier on in my stay in the Philippines. I found myself in situations where I struggled to have conversations with girls that I actually liked, or girls that I felt worthy of having conversations with, because sometimes I was wanting to say something and it just didn't translate the way that you want to. Again, I've talked to you guys about it before. Sometimes there's this lost in translation when it comes to, whether you choose to, tell jokes or do things like that, wherein it may come off as insensitive coming from the foreigner if you don't know how to exactly translate the joke or whatever it is that you're trying, or the attempt that you're trying to make in, Tagalog or Visayan. So if you ask yourself from your heart of hearts, how important it is for you to learn the language, I think anywhere that you go, it's very important. It's 100,000% important. Can you get away with not knowing the language? Absolutely. Will it help you in the long run? I promise you it won't. It's going to hurt, right? And some people, not all of us, but you have some foreigners that come to places like the Philippines, of course, and it kind of seems as though they have this mentality that the people should cater to them as opposed to you catering to them. They should cater to the foreigner because the foreigner doesn't know the language, so they should help us out, or they should learn how to speak English or some shit, because English is spoken just about anywhere in the world that you go. You have some people with that mentality. It's a shit mentality, but nonetheless, you have people who think that, right? And that goes against, and it goes along with, I should say, with the mentality of a lot of people who travel to a country, and because they're first world or whatever, they kind of feel like they have this dominance over the country, or they have rights of say-so in the country. And I've come across quite a few guys, man, that have that mentality wherein, fuck it, they don't know how to speak English and I don't need to talk to them. Or you think that people who don't know how to speak English well come from a class of individuals that you don't want to interact with and or talk to. And I do find that to be disappointing, but let's not overlook what is reality in a place like the Philippines or a place like Southeast Asia in general. I doubt that you're going to go to Japan and have that same mentality, knowing that the people and the Japanese culture is damn near on par with, if you ask me, with the United States and places like that. You wouldn't go to China and be like, yo, y'all speak Mandarin and Cantonese or whatever, and y'all should be speaking English. I don't think they rock with us like that. But like I said, guys, I want to hear from you. What a level of importance of speaking the language, how important is it to you? Whether it be for leisure travel, whether it be for long-term stay. Of course, I'm only assuming that if you're going to be staying long-term, that you're going to want to learn the language. But sometimes you have a lot of guys that feel that they can skate without having to ever learn the language. So, again, we got a few people in the building, man. If you guys haven't already dropped your like, Doc would highly appreciate that one. You already know what to do, man. Make sure y'all caress, but less and de-stress yourself a little bit. That like button. It wants it, it needs, most definitely has to happen. If you guys want to support in any capacity, please feel free to do so. But, of course, I am happy and blessed y'all choose to come through. Spend a little bit of time with the boy today. Now then, let's get back to business. I know it's a Sunday evening, y'all. Y'all got things that y'all could be doing. Happy advanced Memorial Day. But, just want to go ahead and knock this quick live out, have this conversation with you. But I will gladly let y'all go and get to getting. Y'all got things y'all need to do. Philly, what's up with you, man? He said, just want to say thank you, dog. Said, I'm finally in the Philippines after 2.5 years. Your videos kept me sane during the pandemic. And I'm glad that I was able to contribute in one way or another. Again, you guys know I'm not there. I have spent time there. I've done my trips in the past. It's been about 2 years plus for me since I've been there. But any of you guys who are on the, on the ground right now, man, much love to you, man, and much respect. And I hope that the Philippines is everything that you thought it would be. That's the only thing I could ever say. I hope that the Philippines is everything that you thought that it would be. Shout out to my brother Terry Edwards. What's up, man? He says it's very important to learn at least a couple of words. Yes. Right. I think the first words that we learn as foreigners when it comes to going to at least the Philippines is how to say hi, how to say hello, how to say thank you, how to say you're beautiful. I think those are pretty much the standard words, but we have to be able to, you know, learn a little bit more than surface level. In my opinion, I think it's important that we do try a little bit harder. Like my man Joseph said, what's up, man? Exactly what I was saying. He says, you're in someone else's country, you should at least make an effort. That's all it is. And to be honest with you, anybody can vouch for this. If you know any basic Tagalog or basic Visayan or Cebuano, if you're in Cebu, it'll tell you straightforward, man. They appreciate it. Filipinos appreciate it when a foreigner takes the opportunity or makes an effort to try to speak the language. You have a lot of guys out here who refuse to do it. I don't know where the energy comes from. You're traveling to their country and shit, but you don't want to make any effort to remotely say things in their language to be able to try to communicate with them. I mean, Filipinos are easily impressed with foreigners who try to make that work, right? I can't find any Filipino that's not impressed with a foreigner that speaks even the basic of their language. So even with the broken Tagalog, Taglish, whatever you want to call it, I got by very well, right? I did. I enjoyed myself. But I have to say that, there comes a point in time where in, the elementary level of, the vocabulary and stuff, you have to take some element of that and, elevate it to the next level. I do believe that is highly important for any foreigner looking to travel to anywhere in the world. Like I said, skating by, it's not cutting it anymore, man. It's not cutting it anymore. Give me a second. Just getting by and cutting it. So for me, I do believe it is extremely important for us, but a lot of guys don't want to do it. Some guys feel they're too old to do it, right? They're too old to know a second language. I've had a lot of people tell me that before, like, yo, I'm too old to be learning a second language, man. They should conform to me. Like I said, yeah, people say shit like that. I don't believe in it, but what can I say, man? What can I say? My man says, I'm ready to get back there. He said, I've been in the hospital 4 times. Oh, 4 times. And you've been sick in the last 3 months. You've been to the hospital 4 times, sick in the last 3 months. I don't want to go. He said, I'm ready to get back there. I'm sorry. He said, I've been in the hospital 4 times in 3 months. Just don't want to get sick there. Yeah, please be safe, brother. Please be safe. All right. That's always going to be a cause of concern for me. Right. Aside from not knowing the language, hopefully you have a young lady in your corner that's your ride or die or somebody that, can at least translate for you if needed. But I'd be damned. If I get sick in the Philippines and my doctors or my caretakers at these particular hospitals, wherever it is, if you choose to go to the hospital in the province and can't nobody speak no English, they don't know what the hell wrong with me. I told y'all the story about my wife's uncle, right? I believe I've shared with you guys this story at least a handful of times, but for all of my newbies who have never heard this story, let me share with you one of the main reasons why I am beyond scared to go to the hospital in the Philippines, okay? When it comes to having major operations, I should say. So my young lady, her uncle had diabetes, right? So it got to the point where it was out of control. It got really bad, and they had to amputate one of his legs. I believe it was the right leg. Come to find out, they amputated the wrong fucking leg, went back in, amputated the other leg, and no sooner than he got released, probably a week later or so, he passed away. So not only did they mess up my man by amputating the wrong leg the first time, they amputated the other leg So now he's a double amputee. He goes home, and I wouldn't say within a week, but probably within the month, he passed away. So riddle me this, Batman. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way you gonna take the wrong leg, take the other leg, and I go home and die. It freaked me out because I want you to imagine this is a Filipino speaking Filipino to his people. Can you imagine if a foreigner went up in there and had some serious surgery and shit went wrong like that? No, sir. No, sir, rebut. All right. So again, one of my major fears about being in a hospital is that. But outside of that, I do believe that it is important to learn the language to be able to translate if you do have issues or concerns, somebody to be there to at least be in your corner if you feel as though it's not going to come through the way that you want it to. All right. My man, Stay Grinding. What's up with you, brother? He says, Dr. Mike, I'm in Bacalad now. Negros Occidental is off the chain. He said, everything you say is right, but your English will do. 100%, bro. English, look, I'm telling you, man, with us foreigners, man, we who choose to go to the Philippines, it is a cheat code. Like I said, I can't lie. We get away with it because we don't need it. Most people speak English in the Philippines. It'll be hard for me to find somebody in the Philippines in a city area of sorts. I mean, semi-provincial that has problems speaking English, right? You're going to come across a couple. And again, that comes with those that may not have went on with further education, that may not know English. But then again, it doesn't necessarily mean whether you go to college or, go to high school or whatever, that if you didn't go to any of those institutes for, further education, that you can't speak English. So you can't even, chalk it up to that. But for us as foreigners, a lot of us choose to go there because we don't have to know the language. But like I said, man, it's just nice to know that some of us do know. And I think that it impresses Filipinos to an extent that we can somewhat have conversations with them in their own language. Right? And trust me, guys, I fucked up Tagalog a lot, y'all. I have messed up words, man. I've done it all. But the beautiful thing about it is, even if you fail and you fail miserably, they're really encouraging. So at the very least, I've never had anybody pick on me in such a negative way about my translation of Tagalog or Visayan, whether I say words wrong or not. My young lady spent the other day talking to me in Visayan straight, and I got mad at her because that shit was hurting my head because I didn't learn it like that. But she said, I'm going to speak to you in Visayan all day. She translated a lot of this shit, but that's just her way of keeping me learning the language. And it's something that's long overdue anyways. It's something I should have did. And it's probably in my top 3 biggest regrets as of living in the Philippines. I think that number 1 was not learning the language fluently. I'm never going to say I'll be an expert at anything, but not learning the language fluently, not traveling as much as I wanted to. I should have traveled a lot more while I was there. But then again, I was a broke college kid, so that doesn't necessarily, I shouldn't hold myself accountable for that because I did have money to be running around the country and stuff like that. But I do wish I did travel a little bit more. I don't think I missed out on anything, but what up? Nobody died. Who died? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm talking. Huh? See, she's fuck you, man. Go on now. I can't. Not today. Not while I'm trying to work. Because my head hurts. Y'all, I'm sorry. Y'all was talking to the wife, man. I don't know what she's talking about. She's trying to do that science shit again. But anyways, like I said, man, biggest mistake, not learning the language fluently. And if you are planning to come to the Philippines, I know my brother Robert, he's now there. Like I said, I know my man's Philly boy is there. I know also my brother who hit me up on a Facebook Messenger. I know he's gonna be mad at me. I know he's planning on traveling soon if he's not already there. So this has been the year that a lot of guys have opted to go to the Philippines. And I do believe that if you haven't gone to the Philippines yet, I do believe it will not hurt you in any capacity. In any capacity. To learn a little bit of the language. A lot of people don't understand how powerful it is to learn a little bit of the language while you're in any country, not even just in the Philippines. Because like I said, when I first started this live, man, I have never known anybody who's going to Thailand and said, "Yo, you don't need to know. You don't need to know Thai. Yo, you could get away. You could get away with just English. That's a tough one, my brother. I'm telling you. I've never known anybody that's traveled to Japan and said you can get away with just English. Not saying that you can't, but it's very rare that you find that in any other country other than the Philippines, wherein it's almost as if, with the call center culture and the, I guess, the influence of American culture or whatever you want to call it, from that regard, it's been easier for us as foreigners to be able to come into the country with very basic knowledge of Tagalog, if you even choose to be able to get it away, be able to get away with not having to learn the language in its entirety. All right, 11 of y'all in the building, man. Appreciate y'all locking in, man. If you haven't already dropped your like, please make sure you drop the like. If you love what the content is all about, if you're enjoying the conversation, man, likes are free, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to support, y'all know how to do that. But like I said, man, likes are free, and I'd highly appreciate it. No, sir, that is not rum in this can. I'm trying to cut back on my Coca-Cola usage, so I got the 90 calorie can and shit. Probably end up having like 3 of those, but don't judge me. Anyway, my brother Derek, what's up with you, man? He said, I think the older we get, the harder it is to learn. I do not disagree with that. The older we get, it does make it very difficult for us to be able to retain information like we would if we were younger. Which is why, like, when I have kids and stuff, man, my kids are going to learn Tagalog, Visayan, Korean, Spanish, Chinese, and all of that shit at a young age. Am I crazy to think that? Absolutely. To have my children learn 5 to 7 fucking languages, crazy, right? But when they're young, man, they are like sponges, man, and they can hold on to they can hold on to and process information way better than we could while, at the age that we are now, at least the age that I am now. So, like I said, for my kids, I'm going to try to get them on the language train early on in life. That way they can, I think they'll appreciate a little bit more, and I think I'd appreciate a little bit more. It's never too late. My uncle learned Korean in his 40s, so it's never too late. My uncle's ex-wife was Korean, and he learned to speak Korean, and he was probably in his mid-40s at that time. So I don't think it's impossible, but you're absolutely correct. It is a little bit harder for us to be trying to smash that out as we get up there in age. But we can't sit there and not attempt it. At the very least, like I said, man, basic conversation, I think, is what I would encourage. But, you got people who just ain't about that basic conversation. Can't do nothing about it. He says, I don't know how Jay over Black American Expat has lasted in Colombia for almost 2.5 years with little to no Spanish. Hey, man, who knows? I mean, to be honest with you, man, we don't know what that brother learned. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to translate into you making a video about showing what you've learned or anything like that. I mean, over time, like I said, guys, with the time that I spent in the Philippines, over time, I just picked up on nuggets of shit that I do believe works out for me, right? And if you're around a certain amount of people for a certain period of time, you start to pick up on the basics, you start to pick up on things that are, important in everyday conversation. I believed I learned the majority. Honestly, I could tell you the truth. I learned the majority of my Visayan words riding Jeeps. I learned damn near all of my not my Tagalog words, but my Visayan words as I was riding a jeepney, listening to other people's conversation, listening to people trying to get the jeepney to stop, how to pass money, what currency or how to say what 10 pesos is, how to say what 20 pesos is, how to say what 50 pesos is, 50 G's for 10, and what was 20 love? I forgot 20. 20, 20. Like, these are things that I learned riding on the Jeep. So, it's just things that you pick up over time. Do I regret not learning it? Yeah, but can you get by without it? For sure. My man says, he said, I'm 40, my brain is done to learn. Hey, man, we can never put a cap on our ability to learn. I think that I should probably make a stern effort to at least try. I think I owe that one to myself. I think I owe that one to myself. What you need, love? You want what now? Oh, my bad, John. Hold on. Anyway, it ain't on, is it? Well, shit, I ain't pressing. Anyways, even though we're 40, man, guys, I'm in like mid 30s. I still think I owe it to myself to at least give it an honest effort. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you that I'm gonna learn it like an expert would, but again, if we can at least learn the elementary, rudimentary foundation of any language of any country that we're moving to, I do believe that it definitely makes it happen. You know, we can definitely, make things happen. I mean, the thing about Spanish is, if you know, Spanish is the second most spoken language in the United States of America. So we could have learned Spanish in school or whatever the fuck. You could learn Spanish with ease. But what I did learn from a lot of people is that you can't speak the same type of Spanish. And I don't know if this is true or not. Shout out to all my Hispanic brethren, my Latino brethren and whatnot. Spanish is spoken differently in different places, right? The same way they speak Spanish in Mexico, the same way they speak Spanish in Colombia, the same way they speak Spanish in Dominican Republic, the same way they speak Spanish in Puerto Rico. Is different, y'all. I've heard that no one place that you go to is going to speak Spanish the same as it would be in another place. This is coming from my people who have been to these places. He was like, yeah, when I went to Puerto Rico, they speak it's not necessarily a different type of Spanish, but they speak a dialect of, I want to say Spanish. And like I said, if I'm saying it wrong, don't crucify me, but they're speaking a different type of dialogue of Spanish, or a different way of speaking Spanish than they would probably do in Mexico, like where a couple of other people are from. So like I said, man, we can't sit there and expect that the same way, even, how can I say this? Even in the Philippines, right? There's like 1,000,001. Hey, that light came back on. Anyways, there's 1,000,001. Oh, I turned it off. Anyways, there's 1,000,001 dialects in the Philippines, y'all. There's a lot of them, right? One thing that I can say is I do believe that Visayan and Cebuano are the same. So, like, if you're in Davao and you go to Cebu, you can speak the exact same language in both of those areas. Now, that's not saying like when you go to Tagalog. I mean, when you come from like Manila, where they predominantly speak Tagalog, right? And then you go to a place in Davao where they speak Visayan. Again, two totally different languages. Ilocano in Ilocos, different language. I don't know what languages they speak in Bacolod, Ilonggo. See, like I said, so many different fucking places, so many different languages. So I do believe that it is pertinent to find where you plan on settling and learn the language there. But then again, I thought that learning Tagalog, and I've shared this story with you guys before, but I thought that learning Tagalog would make it easier for me because they would speak Tagalog in every area in the Philippines, right? Because it's the national fucking language, right? So my expectation is everybody's going to speak Tagalog, right? Everybody is going to speak Tagalog. The shit that blew my mind is I went to Cebu one time, and I remember this distinctly. I can't remember if it was with my girl or when my dad took me that time. I can't remember. I was over there trying to speak Tagalog, and I thought I was flexing, right? Flexing my learning of the language, and they started speaking to me in English. Like, they're like, man, don't speak that Tagalog shit over here. Like, it was like mad disrespectful to them. It felt as if I was disrespecting them by speaking Tagalog in like Cebu. They didn't care for that shit at all. They did not care for it at all. And that's something you'll learn when you're there, right? They would rather speak to you in English before they speak to you in Tagalog and stuff. And it just comes with the territory, man. It's just the way that it is. Shout out to Maximus. What's up with you, Pippin? He said they have colloquial, words used in certain Spanish countries that are not used in other Spanish countries, but for the most part, they can understand each other. That's what I was thinking. It was kind of like there are certain things that can be said in certain areas that may be a little bit different. Like, you can kind of have a general understanding, but it is what it is. Baño in Spanish is bathroom, and also the same in Tagalog. You're right. It is. There are a lot of words in the Philippine language that have Spanish roots, if you ask me. A lot. I couldn't even go through all of them, but there's quite a few. Cebuanos refuse to talk in Tagalog. They would rather speak in English. Yeah, they would rather speak in that good old English before they speak Tagalog. You're 100%. They do not care for that at all. Like, you are not going. I told you, man. I swear, I thought I was flexing, man. I thought I was doing something right. They look at me like I'm crazy. Like, bro, look, you don't get that damn Tagalog out of my motherfucking face. They don't play that. I didn't know it was that bad, though. I didn't know that it was that bad until I actually got there and I was actually trying to make an attempt to talk to people. I didn't know it was as bad as people would say in reference to, yo, we don't speak Tagalog around here. You know, that's not for us. Either you gonna speak our language or you just gonna talk to us in English. And let's be honest, English is probably most proficient, probably in Cebu. It may sound crazy, but it's interesting to me that most Koreans have opted to settle in the Cebu area when they come to the Philippines, right? And for the most of them, at least the ones that I have had conversations with in the past, a lot of them go to Cebu to go to English schools there in Cebu. So I do believe that out of all the areas, I would be hard pressed to say that Cebu probably is the general region of the Philippines that probably speaks better English than probably any other region that you'll probably find yourself into. They call them regional rivalries. Oh yeah, there is some heat there that I am not aware of, but we're gonna figure it out. There is some heat between Cebu and the Tagalog language, wherever that comes from. Again, guys, 10 in the building, bro. If you haven't already dropped your like, make sure you drop your like. All right. There are over 4,000 Spanish words in Tagalog. That sounds about right. Could have been more. Nah, bro. It's a regular Coke, man. Shout out to Coca-Cola. They didn't sponsor me. But yes, RIP to OG Kevin Samuels. I know he used to drink Red Bulls in a lot of his videos. Matter of fact, every live stream he had, that I can remember, he cracked open a Red Bull and put it in his nice little glass and shit. Put the Red Bull on the rocks. But for me, man, I could not take a regular standard Red Bull and drink it straight. I just can't. The regular one, man, it's always for mixed drink and a mixed drink only for me. I've done it before, but it tastes, it just don't taste the same. But yeah, shout out the OG, man. But nah, I'm just drinking a regular Coke, man. My man says Ilocos feels the Philippine language should be based on their language too. I think every area has a cultural stronghold or a reason, I should say, for their particular language to be the national language of the Philippines. There's a lot of people who have a claim to that right, we'll say. But it is Tagalog, and for myself and everybody else included, yeah, I do believe that is a I mean, that's a problem they're gonna take up with the country. Excuse me. Oh man, say Red Bull is nasty. I like the flavors, man. I just can't take the original. And yes, my young lady has prompted me to stop drinking that and all other carbonated beverages. And I should take her up on that offer. But to my blood, I had a blood pressure test earlier today. Blood pressure still in check. You know, runs in the family. Got to make sure I'm still all right in this bitch. But you know, my man says it'll kill you and speed up your heartbeat. Oh yeah. The dumbest thing I ever did, the dumbest thing I've ever done was drink 3 small Red Bulls in a day. And I definitely felt the difference. That was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever done in my life. It was a long time ago now. Mind you, I drank one when I woke up. Matter of fact, I was still subbing at that time. I drank one in the morning, one for breakfast, and one when I left school before I was going home. Bro, I was sweating and shit. Man, that was the dumbest thing. My eyes started twitching. It was the weirdest thing ever. And I know it'll freak some people out. I look back on it now and realize how dumb it was. And then after that, God rest the soul of this particular individual. But close family friend's husband passed away. He was a long haul truck driver and he used to drink Monster energy drinks like water, you know, to keep him alert while he was driving. And I think they found him dead in the cabin of his truck what happened was he was pulling into the Bay Area where he was either dropping off or receiving a delivery, and he didn't move his truck. They walked over to the truck. My man had a heart attack, straight up. So yeah, it's no joke, man. It definitely does. You know, they put warning labels. They put fucking warning labels on energy drinks now, and it's genuinely something I know I need to avoid, and I'm cutting back on it. Like I said, I got my own vices and shit. Thank God I don't smoke, and thank God I don't drink in excess, because food is pretty much my vice. Hey, look, man, I'm a fat kid. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I like to eat. I live by the rule of three, man. You can't have more than two vices, right, in your life. And the three vices are food, like alcohol, and like cigarettes. You cannot intermingle those three at all, because you're just asking to kill yourself. So thank God food is my main vice. Don't make it any better, but yeah, we gotta stop. I think I gotta stop that shit. Anywho, don't be listening to her. Don't listen to her. I know it's bad, and I know I'm a quit. No means no. But back to the topic at hand, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to the importance of learning the language, it does depend on where you are in the world. Again, Philippines is a place where the language is not necessarily required by law for you to learn it. But I bet you if you find yourself in places like Thailand and other Southeast Asian countries, India included, maybe India, you can skate. But in most of those other areas, chances are you're not going to be able to, you know, get by on your good looks and charm without learning the language. And aside from it being just a benefit for yourself to learn it, to impress females, if that's what you want to do it for, it keeps people from taking advantage of you. And this is one thing that a lot of people don't talk about, and I've been meaning to bring it up. I mentioned it in other videos, but I do want to give it an in-depth conversation to speak on. All right, 7 in the building, man. If you haven't dropped your like, make sure you drop your like. I love Filipino people, but there's some people out there, like in every part of the world that you visit, some are good, some are bad, right? Some are good, some are bad. But the bad ones, right? They talk that shit right in front of your face, and you wouldn't even know what they talk about. Smile in your fucking face, bro. Speak that Bootyloo shit right in your face, and you don't know what they talk about, right? You don't know what the hell they talk about. You think that they're saying something nice to you, or they're saying something, you know, that is meant to be taken in a positive light, but they're sitting there joking about you to their friends. And you learning the language will keep that from happening, in my opinion. Or at least if you understand what people are saying, whether you choose to address it or not, I believe that it gives you, like I said, the advantage of you being able to know that these people are cool with you, or these are some people you shouldn't even be fucking with. I've been in situations where I was able to understand a base of what people were talking about when I was in the room, and I just never said anything, right? Because sometimes you're not 100% sure about what somebody says whenever you're translated in your mind or whatnot. But you know, if you do know the language, you won't have that issue, you know? So you got to be careful with that, man. You got to be careful with that one. My man says Mountain Dew Kickstarter, the safest energy drink. Get orange, mix it with orange juice. I said, nah, that shit sound nasty, bro. No, with all due respect, mixing an orange Kickstart with orange juice, no, sir. I can't imagine. That shit don't even, with all due respect, man, it do not sound like it's gonna get. That does not sound like it's gonna end well for me. I've had an orange Kickstart before. I might mix it with some Tang or some shit. My man said, Doc, is school out? Is school out for summer there? Yeah, the kids got out of school on the 20th. Last week, Friday. I'm officially done with school on the 3rd of June. But then I got summer school coming up, man. Give me that little summer school check. That'll start back in the mid part of June. So school is out for the children. I still got a report there for some god-awful reason. But yeah. And yes, I am teaching summer school this year. I ain't fucking with y'all today. My man says, you're right. I asked about it, and my wife's mother said they kept looking at me for trying to speak Tagalog and Tacloban. Oh, yeah, man. You are not about to disrespect them in their own place. Like I said, man, They take that shit serious. I didn't know it was that bad, you know. But that's what comes with the territory of being the foreigner on the outside looking in. I do believe that you learning the language somewhat puts you in an inner circle where you can share in the jokes, where you can, be able to make sure the people that you choose to hang out with, if you do choose to hang out with a couple of your Filipino partners and whatnot, put you in a better position to be able to make sure that these people ain't looking at you like a come up or looking at you like a joke because you're the foreigner that goes out and does all the good stuff for them and shit like that. So I don't know, man. Something to keep in mind. Hey, man, Tang is a kick in the glass. Don't fucking forget it, man. When we talk about Tang like that, yeah, they still sell Tang. Tang is a thing. I don't buy it, but I'd rather mix it with Tang before I mix it with orange juice, bro. Not unless you're talking about the Tropicana. I might be able to slide it with the Tropicana, but the Florida Naturals that I drink, man, that shit already sounds like it's going to be a bad taste, man. Anyways, I'm laying off the energy drinks, man. I don't think I have any more in the fridge. I think I had my last one for a long time. Not going to go out of my way to go out there and buy them like I used to. Promise. don't you me. You got something to say? Yes. Shit, see? Get married, they always got something to say. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, man, I'm not going to keep you guys on very long. I'm going to go back to what I was doing, but I had to get this one off my chest. Girl, you just let it play? Why you ain't stop it? No, I was watching that. You didn't tell me to stop it. Ah, fuck it. Who cares? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I was watching my Joe Kenda. I'm sorry, I watch Homicide Hunter religiously. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to that. He said, "Dog, I am expecting." Come on, bro. Don't be over here trying to put. See, everybody want to put a times table on when Doc gonna have little baby Dr. Mike's running around and shit. Y'all got no. Don't put that on me. It'll happen when it happens, okay? And it ain't gonna happen before we want it. All right. We are very on that shit. Doc don't do no slip ups like that, man. Ain't about to happen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, man, I appreciate y'all locking in. For those that catch this on the replay, I appreciate you tuning in. Comment section below. Y'all let me know how you feel about learning the language. I'm almost sure that a lot of us are on even keel. I'm sure a lot of us are on the same page when it comes to the idea behind. Oh, Maximus, don't get me started, bro. I've been doing this for a long time, my brother. Been doing this for don't get me started. No, sir. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, friend. Hey, Doc don't do slip-ups, my friend. It don't happen like that. It just does not happen like that. I promise you. The day that Doc you catch me slipping, man, it'd be a bad day. My man says it depends on your genes. He said my boy drinks Monster drinks, smokes a pack of cigarettes a day, and he's 70. Damn. It's not for me, man. It's not for me. I can tell you right now, Doc can't do cigarettes, man. Thank God that's a habit I didn't pick up on. Monster Energy tastes like ass for me, personally. I don't fuck with Monster. That shit nasty. Look, it tastes like shit. The original Monster, the can is the coolest thing I've ever seen, though. That black can with that highlighter green fucking M on the shit. I thought about investing in Monster Energy drink, and you can. It is actually publicly traded. But I said, nah, I don't drink it enough to invest into. And Red Bull, as far as I'm concerned, is not publicly traded. So another day, another dollar. We'll figure it out. Speaking of stocks, man, does anybody know when Chick-fil-A is going to go public? I know it never will, but I've been dreaming about it. I've been kind of hoping that it would, because I would probably put about $1,000 on Chick-fil-A upon IPO. If Chick-fil-A went public, I would definitely be investing in it to it, because Chick-fil-A the shit. Don't know about y'all, but I'll be rocking with the Chick-fil-A. All right, and they would make us a lot of money. Oh yeah, Maximus, I'm on that split, my boy. I thought it was the 15th. It's not the 15th of June. It's the 3rd. Okay, my bizarre. Appreciate it. Hey man, some of them do, some of them don't. Props on being the few reporting on the Philippines. I started traveling as a single dude to Mexico, Colombia. Oh, you're a Latino from LA. He said, I'm looking for new experiences. Always thought Philippine culture was a bit similar. Oh, yeah, man. Philippine culture and the Hispanic Latin American culture, there's some similarities. I'm not going to sit there and tell you there's a lot, but there's enough that I think there's enough for a good foundation. A lot of the words definitely translate well. Tagalog words translate well into Spanish. But then again, let's keep it real. Spanish for about 400 years they colonized that country. So pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of similarities in the people where they carry themselves, the things that they find to be important, family values and stuff like that. I think you'll find a lot of that. My man says, I got six shares of Amazon, so I'll have 120 shares. Congratulations. I'm not buying before the split. I'm going to buy after the split. He said, I can understand the gist of some of the language or at best the context, but it's crazy how their language is a blend. Oh, man. Bruh. There are 4,000 languages spoken in the Philippines alone. It's a lot. It's a lot of that. The American influence definitely there. Probably more. It's a clash of both, 100%. That Spanish American influence. I think now in this more modern era, probably a lot more of an American influence than anything for sure. In the Philippines, but I still believe there's somewhat of that traditional, somewhat Spanish influence that still will always be in the country for sure. My man says Amazon by May 27th, which is the last Friday to get that split. Wait a minute. The split is on the 3rd. I'm going to catch it after the split, right? After like $2,000 and shit. I'm going to go ahead and get some, after they go ahead and let that thing split up. My man said Chick-fil-A estimated to be 4.5 million if you hit the stock market. I don't care what Chick-fil-A is expected. I want me some damn Chick-fil-A stock, bro. That line is always busy. I think it'll remain private. I don't think Chick-fil-A will ever go public. But the day that it decides, the day that they get under new management and they decide that they was going to let that split happen, Doc's ready. Been ready. He said, tons of people going crazy for Colombia. Philippines definitely needs love, in my opinion. Yes. There are far more people who would rather go to Colombia, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico even, Brazil, before they go to a place like the Philippines. But in fairness, the travel is it takes a whole lot less to travel to those places than it will to a place like the Philippines. I believe that you'll have far more, I would like to say, meaningful experiences in a place like the Philippines than you will in Colombia. But then again, I don't know. That could be that could be something that is dependent upon the person. But honestly, it's just a whole lot easier and cheaper to travel to, like I said, Brazil, DR, and Colombia than it is to travel all those thousands of miles to a place on the other side of the water. But for me and anybody that I have encouraged to go check it out, or for anybody who has checked it out on their own recognizance, has been able to probably have the most profound experiences of their life in a place like the Philippines, whether it be good or whether it be bad. My man said the last share I bought was 2035. I'll just wait for the split, then I'll get me some. He said, getting a plan and ready for getting and planning and getting ready for the 20+ hour flight, but hope the mission is going to pay off. Bro, it's worth it. I promise you. I don't like to push it on anybody, but guaranteed, man. I just feel like anybody who has been to the Philippines has had wonderful experiences to come back and share. And once you make that trip the first time, every time subsequently, it's light work. Like I said, I've made that trip at least 5+ times. Depending times when I came back during my tenure there, the whole time I stayed, so I've been back and forth, and I enjoy it, and I think that you will too. I can honestly say I've never come across anybody who has had just negative experiences in the Philippines and never wanted to come back. It's hard to find those people. And the only people that will honestly fall into that category are likely people who got scammed. I do believe that if you watch enough videos, like we said in the last live stream, over preparation is possible. But, making sure you stay on your P's and Q's and shit, I do believe that, the trip will be worthwhile as long as you, remain cautious in like any fucking place that you would go, right? You hear about people getting drugged out there in Colombia and shit. Like, okay, now I know. I just drink everything that comes in a bottle, and I should make sure I open the shit myself if that's the case. I mean, it's just certain things that I believe that you just need to be aware of. And think it keep your mind right and keep your game tight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Doc's on his way out, man. I got things to do. Getting tired. Probably gonna go ahead and take a nap. Happy advanced Memorial Day to all my people out there. If you're in the Philippines right now, I guess Memorial Day is officially already hit, you guys. Don't think they celebrate Memorial Day in the Philippines. It's probably just another day on the calendar. But to all of my veterans out there, I love y'all, man. I come from a strong military background, family. My brothers, retired Air Force, father retired Army, grandfathers, my uncles, everybody's militaried up. So, Memorial Day to an extent holds a very, very special place in my heart. Veterans Day, shit like that, that's meaningful to me. So all of my people out there who served in any branch of the military, big salute to all of y'all. We love y'all. Thank you for y'all service. All right, ladies and gentlemen, has been fun. It has been real. Shout out to all of my silent partners in the background, the ones who just listen in. They don't necessarily participate in the conversation. Again, you guys help the channel more than you will ever know. To all of my brethren who are in the chat, keeping a good doc on his P's and Q's, I appreciate you guys as well. All right, guys could have been anywhere in the world today, but y'all chose to kick it with the homie. Appreciate you, but the good doc gotta go and get to getting. So with that being said, man, I appreciate you locking in. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out. Peace.